Today we're down at Doncaster Cables, but not to see a new cable, but to see a new product to the UK from the Runpotec range. It's the Profi Set. Thanks, Aaron, for joining us. What exactly is it?
So it's a professional cable pulling system, and essentially it's a fiberglass rod inside of a cage, and we've got these three variations from that range in front of us.
And the variation's been in the thickness of those. So this one here, the actual rod itself is 4.5mm thick.
60 metres long, and then we have the medium duty one, which is 6mm thick and 60 metres long. And then we've got the heavy duty one, which is 9mm thick and 120 metres long.
And it's about application, is it? It's probably for smaller conduits and trunking systems for this one here. And as we get bigger, we move up to this one here. However, it's got that braking system that we really liked. And I want to get this in nice and early. You go first with your system that has a brake on it, Aaron.
So I can take my brake off, and I've gone through the ratchet system.
Yep.
So as I pull that, it will then stop itself. And I can pull that through and it'll constantly brake as it goes.
Okay, so that's going into a ducting system, so we're pushing it through so we can attach our cables. Or we can have one that has self-propulsion, which is my one here. So if I take off my brake and you watch this, this is a beautiful thing to watch. And here we go, and mine goes out. It does the braking system as well, but that'll send you out the 60 metres that I need. It's all well and good looking at the product. We really need to put it to the test, so I think that means we're going to get our hands dirty. Over here, I've got a hatch already opened up. I've looked at the plans and drawings you've got here at Doncaster Cables. I've walked it round. I've got to approximately 50 metres to the other end. So I think we'll take the 6mm thick one and we're going to put it to the test. However, it would be really nice to have an accurate reading of how much cable, or in this case, rod, that we've actually inserted. Is that something also that we can do?
Yeah, so on the bigger one, the 9mm one, there's a meter counter built into the system. But on these smaller ones, we have the Rumpo meter, which can then be assembled and clipped onto them to give you an accurate meterage of the rump.
Okay, so we'll see how close my 50 metres of stride is when we pull that cable in.
Yes. So we're going to use this to see how accurate your strides are. This is the Rumpometer. This is the device that measures the length. It has lots of different attachments for different size cables. And in the rest of the box are some other ancillary stuff like straps.
This is really important, isn't it, to know the length of, in this case, the run, because we're going to be pulling it in, because we often overstride and then add 5 on, don't we? So if I've said 50 strides is 50 metres, I'm probably going to go for 55 metres of cable. And with cable prices being so expensive, it's better to have that accurate reading, especially if you're maybe doing a design calculation and you're working out the cross-sectional area of conductors or volt drop. So we're going to set it up, we're going to turn it on, and as the rod passes through it, it's going to add that meterage in.
Yeah, so it'll add it through. We get the option to reset it, which we're doing now, so it's now at 0. And you're absolutely right with the expense of the cable, but another thing people are using these for is also the sustainability side of the project. So it's trying to have as little waste as possible on projects and construction sites.
Now we've got an attachment there to make it easy to go through. There are several other attachments. We've chosen this one because of the flexibility it gives us. You've zeroed your instrument again, and now we're just going to pass the rods through and into the duct. So we can see how easy it comes off in order that we can get to the other end. So that's about, I reckon, 50 metres of pushing you've got to do there in order that we can get to the other end. But look at that, there's no twisting, no knotting, nothing. That's gone with relatively ease, hasn't it?
Yeah, I still wish I was holding the camera.
Yeah, but I had to do that job. So we're at this end now, we're poked out, okay. Ah, there you go. I was not bad, but 3 metres out, and over a big project that starts adding up. Now you're showing us now that when you move the rod in and out, we can change that measurement, can't we?
Yeah, so it'll measure both directions. So as you're pulling the cable in, if the Rumpometer bounces about, if it goes backwards, it'll actually deduct the measurement. If it goes forward, it'll add the measurement on.
So we brought in the X-Board 300 in order that we can pull in an armoured cable. What size of armoured cable are we going to pull in?
So we've picked a 4-core 2.5 armoured cable.
Okay, yeah, so a decent size cable in order to pull it in. And now this is where we get the luxury of changing that attachment, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're taking off the flexible head that we used for pulling it through, and we're going to replace that with this this other head.
Okay, and this one means that we won't get that armoured effectively stuck. But when I'm ever attaching cables to rod system, I'm thinking of tons of tape and making sure that it doesn't pull off. But you're not going to do anything like that, are you?
No, we're going to use this device where it just tightens up on top, and then the more we pull on that cable, the tighter the grip comes. And the red shroud then pulls over the end, and that just stops it getting snagged on any other cables, because we've got a lot of cables in this trough already. Okay, so in we go. So we're going to obviously feed it in to start with, then I think I'm going to send you down the other end in order to pull that 50 metres, because remember, holding this camera takes a lot of effort. And what I absolutely love about the X-boards is even when the cable drops off, the board itself is completely rotating, so it doesn't snag, does it? So this is a one-person job. Yeah, so myself at the other end now pulling this through. I don't have to worry about this end because I know when it does loop off, which it does as the cable falls down or the speed changes, it'll always pick itself back up and it won't tangle.
And so that's the 47 metres of cable going in with one person doing the job.
There we go, we've seen the loop come underneath. So that loop is now tight underneath, but because of the design of the Rumpotec X board, it's going to come back up.
And then we pull it out the other end, there's our cable. So we're ready to send it on to its final destination. While Aaron's washing his hands and catching his breath, you might be thinking to yourself that X-Board 300 was a fantastic bit of kit. I'd like to know more about that, or its big brother, the 500. They're also from Rumpotec. If you do, check out the video just there.